We are racing in the land of lilies and maple syrup. That's right. We are at the Canadian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go for episode 107 of the Eating Asphalt podcast.
Nice. Got it back.
Yep, land of lilies. I did not know that that is countries choose to do that, but it sounds like Canada is part of the land of lilies. So that's an added country fun fact that's a little add-on for the people, for the folks.
You're getting ahead of ourselves here.
I know. I just love this sport so much. Am I right? All right. Well, it's good to be back. Had a nice little week break. We came back from Ian's bachelor party weekend. So that was a kind of our own racing ourselves, couples, run-ins and some skirmishes. And so it was like a wet and wild weekend for us ourselves. So we're just fighting back. But we, on this episode of the podcast, have our news, our Canadian Grand preview, country fun facts, gambling paddock, and then our race predictions. So starting right off with our news.
All right. Well, it happened today, so it's top of mind. PETA protested Lewis Hamilton, of all people. Lewis Hamilton and Toto Wolff were sitting together. I don't even know what the conference was for. I didn't look that deep, but PETA kind of like interrupted the forum. It was extraordinarily uncomfortable, as most of those protests are. I think my biggest qualm with this is, of all the people on the grid to protest, why would you do the one vegan? You know, like, why the one vegan? Why is that the guy you target? It's like, all right, we need to interrupt this guy's protest or this guy's like forum, whatever.
It's that he also started a race league where it's supposed to be like eco-friendly, environmentally, like non-damaging. Like, the guy is clearly, it's like if they attacked Sebastian Vettel, he's like, brother, I am doing my best to do what I can. There's so much I can do. So yeah, I agree. It's an odd group to attack, odd person to attack, but I feel like this is the first time I've ever seen PETA like approach it being like not mean toward Lewis. You know, it's like, oh, you've done so much. We love you. Please help. You know, usually it's like, kill this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. They did go to him and be like, we know you're a champion of the people or a champion of the animals or whatever. Like, we need your help. And I guess they were protesting something with like the Iditarod. And they were like, you should cut your ties with the Iditarod. It's like, when you think Iditarod, do you think Lewis Hamilton or vice versa?
That's how like, you think he makes money from Formula One. Just you wait till you see the numbers from the Iditarod. And also, like, it's Canada, it's the Iditarod. Like, I'm sure it's non-environmentally friendly. They go to a lot of other countries that do a lot worse to animals than Canada, I would assume. So odd that they like took their stance like, this is the weekend that we go. This is where we charge.
Yeah. I guess, but hey, it was good to know that I think 150 dogs have died in the Iditarod. I don't know how long that is, because if it's like, you know, a 400-year tradition and there's 150 dogs that have died, you know, then I don't want to be the
110 of them came 300 years ago kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
50. There's been like one every 10 years. Yeah, we need a little bit more context. Also, how does PETA get into these meetings? I feel like that's just not a badge that like the Formula One will be like, oh yeah, you're good.
Yeah, good question. I mean, they probably go covert ops.
You
know what I'm saying?
You gotta ask them how they do that, because we go covert ops.
That's a good idea. DM PETA.
Reach out to PETA. All right, moving on. We have more upgrade talk, and it's not about Aston Martin. That probably should have some like decent outlook on their upgrades. It's Williams. Williams has cool upgrades every single year throughout the year, and it's just going to be the same thing we see every year, where they might go backwards. I think there's been a couple of years where they have done tremendously worse going in with some major upgrades than they had going into it. So I have no expectations for Williams this weekend.
Yeah, it's the age old, you know, we're bringing upgrades. Look out, we're going to be a little bit better. If they are bringing upgrades, it should definitely be the floor, because like we talked about, the floor is
Mhm.
basically just like a piece of plywood on the bottom of the
It was
car.
flat.
Yeah, but I mean, Haas too, by the way. Haas made some big gain, quote, let me see, quote, fantastic gains have been made in a key area, according to Gunther Steiner. So we got
It's gonna
Williams
be
and
the
Haas,
floorboard. It's
baby.
gonna be the floorboard for every team because they're like, it's pretty close to we think Red Bull. So we're back.
Yeah, but I mean, we're back. It's good to hear that upgrades are being brought.
Money
I
is
don't know
being
when,
used.
how realistically, how long throughout the season can a team like say like can a team try to get fans excited for upgrades being brought in when there's
Dude,
essentially, other than Mercedes,
I was gonna
no
say
real game made.
that was the one thing last year where it's like they did show drastic improvements, but that is like obviously they're kind of them Red Bull are in a league of their own when it comes to development, car development. So yeah, you can't really say that for the other cars or drivers or teams. So if another team says it, maybe Aston because of how much they've been kind of copying and bringing in the Red Bull guys. Outside of those three, I don't believe shit when they say that, especially halfway through the year on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hey, speaking of Red Bull, another piece of news here: the Canadian Grand Prix could be Red Bull Racing's 100th win, their 100th franchise win. Number seems low to me, doesn't
It
it?
does.
And
Yeah, with
yeah,
winning four in a row, winning four constructor championships and driver championships in a row, I only have 100.
yeah,
But congrats, because it will happen.
yeah. I mean, a little preview on the gambling corner.
It
Your
looks,
boy thinks it's happening.
yeah. No, I can see that for sure. Um, all right, moving on. We obviously have heard the rumors with Lewis Hamilton talking about him potentially. There was a $48 million dollar a monetary amount thrown out in the air for Ferrari trying to get in Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, it doesn't seem like Lewis is going to go, but obviously now journalists, everyone is going to be like, "Hey, Max, would you go to Ferrari?" He says he would consider if they were the fastest team on the grid. Seems kind of like a pretty obvious like cop out answer, just being like, "Hey, if they're like the best team, sure, why not?" And if one team's going to be able to throw that money, it's Ferrari. So I can see it, but it's just one of these just like most ridiculous questions that will never come to fruition ever.
Yep,
That they just decide to write a multiple page article on.
yep. But I mean, maybe he would race for Ferrari with Le Mans. So shout out to Ferrari's Le Mans team.
Dude, I saw
Good job.
a lot of funny memes of the Formula One signs and Leclerc just being like, Ferrari won a 24-hour race without any strategy blunders. It's like, damn, tough.
They've changed. It's a new
They
team.
figured it out, dude. Bring that strategist over. He's like, I have no. And also going back to Le Mans, hilarious seeing the different cars on on that track. Some of them
Yeah,
were
I
7 times the size of other cars.
I don't understand what Le Mans is, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah,
Like it totally puzzles me. I saw one year where like to start off, the drivers like ran across the track to get into their cars and start the cars and start the race. I'm just like, what kind of it's like somebody took mushrooms and was like, all right, what if, and then just let their mind go.
yeah. I don't know, dude. It makes no sense. And you know who was on that Ferrari team though? Antonio Giovinazzi, baby. Yeah, he
Baby. The
still
G
has
spot.
it, dude. Huge for him. I was very excited to see that.
Yeah. Motion to only call Antonio Giovinazzi Mr. G spot from now on, I think.
Is that a thing?
I mean, it
It
is
is
now.
now. All right. Shout out G Spot. I've never been
And
able to
then
find him, but apparently he's there.
and then lastly, I don't know how much validity is with this, but Lewis Hamilton and Shakira dating after hanging out at the Spanish Grand Prix. I mean, fucking hot ass couple.
Yeah.
Hot couple.
I have to believe this. After we've talked about Lewis's like history of it's the Derek Jeter of Formula One with his list of beautiful, gorgeous women he's dated in the past. It doesn't shock me. I'm pretty sure Shakira like rejected Tom Cruise to stick with the potential Lewis rumors. So congrats to him. Good for him.
Yeah, hard decision. Lewis Hamilton or Tom Cruise, dude.
That is actually, I mean, I don't know. Isn't that a hard one?
No, dude. I don't
Seems
want to talk
kinda
about
sick,
Scientology
dude.
on a media platform, even though we're
Dude, you could
small.
be the queen of Scientology, though. That
That'd be
sounds,
pretty lit. That would be pretty lit.
dude, that sounds awesome. All right, well, that does it for our news. Way to end our news sector there. Moving on to our next sector, the Canadian Grand Preview.
All right, time to talk about the Canadian Grand Prix. Rich history in Formula One that Canada has. We used to race in Ontario, we used to race in Quebec, and now we're racing in Montreal, where Lance Stroll was born just a couple of miles away. The track's name is Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, named after the Ferrari driver and father of 1997 champion Jacques Villeneuve. He died in a quali session in Belgium in 1982, and then they paid tribute to him by naming the track after him. So nice little heartwarming, feel-good story there. About the track itself, this is an all-gas, no-brakes track pretty much. Low downforce, very high speed. Not a lot of corners getting in the way of high speed. I think there are only 14. 3 DRS zones throughout. There used to be 2. I can't remember if it was last year or this year that they added the 3rd DRS zone, but because you have high speeds when you're going into corners, and sometimes the corners are kind of sharp and acute, this is kind of hard on the tires and hard on braking. So keep an eye out for that. I think there's going to be some chaos in the F1 pit lane. Turn 10 especially, there's like a direct hairpin, kind of like a la Monaco, that always is fun, especially with some rain. We'll preview of the rain, we'll preview of the weather. Other features about this track, they have the Senna S's that are from turns 2 to 6. So as soon as you kind of get off of the start area, like by the pit start, I think it's just like a little Senna S that he was just good at, I guess. So they named it after him. They like to name stuff after dead people, I guess. Good for them. R.I.P. And then also the Wall of Champions at turn 14. It's after a long straight. There's kind of like a right angle turn, and a lot of champions in the 1999 Formula One Grand Prix or Canadian Grand Prix. A lot of, like, I think it was 3 champions that crashed into the wall in that one race. So they were like, Wall of Champions. I don't think anybody died. So good for them for not continuing to name it after dead people. That's true. Damn.
They go after them. They didn't die on the track, and they're like, "We got to fucking kill these guys."
But yeah, it's. I mean, I think this is going to be a good one. I think like high speed is going to prevail here. So a little preview with the gambling corner. I think I hit gambling corner pretty hard. As far as weather's concerned, pretty good chance of rain this weekend. 58% chance of rain on Friday, 58% chance on Saturday, 49% chance on Sunday. And then it's going to be like kind of low to mid 70s as a high throughout. So chaos, I think, is what this means. High speed and rain. It's going to be hard to break. I think we're going to get some chaos.
I mean, did you factor that into your gambling corner?
No, and that's probably why I'm going to lose.
All right, hell yeah. All right, awesome. Great Grand preview. Our country fun facts up next.
All right, country fun facts. You want to go first? Or you want me?
Go for it.
All right. You said you have multiple, so that's good for me. My first country fun facts with aliens in the news. The first UFO landing pad was built in St. Paul, Alberta, Canada in 1967. So, we've seen some aliens down here. Canada, like in the last week or so, Canada's been way ahead of us. So they've been preparing for the last, I guess, 60 years.
Yeah, I wonder how the aliens know that that's their landing pad,
They're just looking for the friendly people. People in Canada are friendly. They're like, "Oh, we'll have you down here,
come down here, eh? Yeah, you hungry?
You hungry? We got some syrup."
You think they have a big sign that says aliens only land?
Maybe. If you're an identified flying object, you get the fuck out of here.
We will shoot you down, sir.
Yeah. Does Canada have an army? They gotta have an army.
Dude, what kind of question is that? I don't think they have an army.
I'm sure. I mean, it's probably
there's
12 people?
It's like 12 guys. They're on moose.
They got big guns on moose.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Moving on to stereotypically Canadian things. Canadian has a strategic maple syrup reserve known as the Global Strategic Maple Syrup Reserve, which stores a significant portion of the world's maple syrup supply. Closely monitored and protected, I assume, by the 12 people in the Canadian Army. So yeah, if you're ever low on some pancake syrup, you can walk up to there and sweet talk those guys into letting you steal some.
That's nicely.
And then there's a small village named Dildo in Canada. Saw that one. Maybe
What is that? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Dildo. There's a
Yeah,
name. There's a name of my third grade teacher, Mrs. Dildo.
Oh, okay. I was like, what does that mean? That's great. All right. My country fun fact, no overlap. Good job.
Nice.
Winnie the Pooh is Canadian. That was named
What?
after a bear at the Canadian Zoo.
Oh,
So he didn't have a Canadian accent. I don't know.
yeah, fake Canadian.
Yeah, it was. It was. He moved. He was born in Canada, moved immediately down to the States, like this, like the smart Canadians do. My next, the U.S. has invaded Canada twice. Just like the Vietnam War, it's just kind of up in the air who won, I guess. Not us.
The United States has either won wars or it's been kind of a tie
It's
in
like,
history books.
like we don't really talk about that in history
Yeah.
class, those wars. We talk about the winners.
Back-to-back World War champs, baby.
Because I was surprised that we gotten some, like, threw some deuces at each other. And then it made sense when I found out that maybe why we didn't learn about that as a kid. Number 3, there's a drink in Dawson City in the Yukon called sour toe cocktail that has a real human toe at the bottom. Weird part about this, gets weirder. If you swallow the toe, it's a $2,500 fine.
Okay, wait. How is it dead people's toes?
Yes.
And they just put it in their drink and they're like, oh, we're kooky.
Yeah, and it's like, don't drink that though, you're in trouble, eh?
Okay.
So I found that wild. Next bachelor party, we go to the Yukon. Get
I
some
guess, dude.
sour toe cocktails on tap.
I heard that there's a live toe version where they just take it off of some. Yeah, they cut off the toes of prisoners and they
if
put it
you
in vodka.
if you don't drink those toes, $10,000 fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
Canada's a weird place.
Yeah, it's just that Yukon. I don't stick away from it. My other two, there's some bonus. Lowest recorded temp in Canada was as cold as Mars at negative 63 degrees Celsius. And then, and this is kind of my favorite, one of the 13 articles of the U.S. Articles of Confederations states, if Canada wants to be in the U.S., it's automatically accepted. Which now I'm kind of surprised that over all our years of success, Canada hasn't been like, let's just fucking hop on board.
Dude, they probably beat us in that war that we don't know about, and they're like, "Nah, we're tougher than you guys."
Yeah, we got it. I have seen over the past year, there's been a lot of territories that have been like, "Can we join the U.S.?" But I wonder if this has to be like a group decision.
And then last bonus fun fact: Canada is the home of the Eaton Asphalt song producer Austin James. So shout out Austin James.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you. I think your check for the song got lost in the mail, maybe, but we'll try to get that back.
Yeah, those Canadian mail system is fucking ridiculous. You know,
You try to send a letter,
just a bunch of seals waddling around throwing shit. You know, you're not going to get anything done with that type of organization. Organization. That's a terrible Canadian accent. Sorry.
All right, and now let's move on to our gambling paddock, baby. Okay, it's been a rough start. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a rough 8 races for your boy. To remind everybody, we started off with $500 with a $20 unit. Currently, I am at $294. Marco's at about 4 units up at 576. My picks this time, we're going a little easy. Max Verstappen pole double unit special at minus 200. double unit
Okay.
special. Okay. Also Sergio over Alonso in FP1 minus 120. So we're picking the bulls to be quick.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
And FP1, dude, you're a degenerate.
I mean, I
Good
don't want
God.
Alonso to get used to the car and like put in some
Yeah.
faster times.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm good. I'm smart with gambling.
That's your two?
That's my two.
All right. I'm gonna do kind of similar. One's just it's stupid. Both Red Bulls to score points. Super easy. Minus 400, 2 units. So I'm not getting a good return on this one. I didn't like a lot of the bets this weekend, to be honest. I looked at good and hard, and there was not much to work with. So I went pretty easy. I don't love it. Lando top 10, minus 140, 1 unit.
Lando
So
top
three.
10 minus 140. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean,
yeah, okay.
You supporting McLaren makes me happy.
You're welcome. Yeah, where are your fucking Ferrari bets, you jackass?
not touching Ferrari. I'm volatile enough.
Fair.
All right, let's move on to our race predictions and wrap it up. Do I go first?
I believe you start her up.
All right, I will start her up then. Who do we think will crash or DNF? Give me Lance Stroll putting on a bad show for his home crowd. Winner, give me Max Verstappen. Last place, Nick DeVries. Driver of the day, I'm going to pick Nico Hulkenberg. Douche of the day, I'm also going to pick Lance Stroll. I'm kind of like rolling the dice against Lance. Wild card prediction, give me Logan Sargent in the points. First 8 races haven't gone well for him. 9th race is on his home continent. Logan Sargent in the points. Fastest lap Max, pole Max, and then 2 cars don't finish the race.
Okay. I will go. Who do you think will crash a DNF? Alex Albon, Williams upgrades wet. He's fucked. Winner, Fernando Alonso. Last place, Logan Sargent. Driver of the day, Max. Douche of the day, you did have mine at Stroll. Let's go. How do you use him? Hulk. Nico Hulkenberg. Sure. Wildcard prediction, Stroll top 5. I don't think this has happened this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Stroll top 5, fastest lap, Lewis Hamilton, pole, Fernando Alonso. How many cars don't finish? I'm gonna go with 3.
Like it. All right. Well, there you have it. Man, I'm excited. I was glad for the week off, but especially with the chaos, I think with the rain, I'm excited to see what happens. So yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Let's just see. Let's go get her, eh? Let's go see some
come
cars
on there, eh?
vroom.
Yeah, vroom, scary, eh? Everyone stay safe.
All right, see you, assholes.
See you, assholes.
Hey, thought you could leave without saying goodbye.
I used to say I lived my life a quarter mile at a time. And I think that's why we were brothers. Because you did too.